The whole idea of Every Mother's Nightmare was it wasn't the long hair at your door asking your daughter out. It's like, I'm a waxed individual, and I do weird shit. And you know, this guy asked me at a gas station one time, and he goes, "Bet your mom's proud of you, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, I just signed a $600,000 record deal. She's pretty good, but you know."
Nazi man. Like a rig. Old rig. That. The first time I did it, we played down at
tones are the same.
First annual.
That's the next thing. That's been a conversation.
Oh, great.
Everybody that comes in is like,
I've been busy.
yeah,
You been busy?
record.
Close enough.
So they call it good enough for government work?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go.
The feel of this album, I don't even know what to call it. It's unlike anything EMN's done in the past.
It's still going to be EMN for people who are familiar, but this collection of songs, I just think it's so eclectic. There's not one. It comes from so many different directions that I really feel like there's something for damn near everybody that loves rock music.
We get a lot of fans that say that doesn't sound like Every Mother's Nightmare. That don't sound like the first album. That don't sound like Grind. Why would you write the same album twice? A band's got to evolve. As long as it's good, it doesn't matter. It's still the same band.
I don't feel this time around. Not that anybody's not 100% feeling a Southern vibe. I mean, because that's where we're from. I mean, there's always going to be some Southern, but it might not be so blatant this time around.
It's different. When you listen to it, you're gonna be really, really surprised in a very, very pleasant way. The songwriting is good, it's heavy.
Like I said, it stays true to what EMN has always been, but man, takes it to a spot where I really think new listeners are going to be able to find something to latch onto, and I think moving forward, it's just gonna appeal to an even wider audience.
I think this is the best stuff I've ever wrote. The first month or two we were writing this record before I was even sending you anything, you know, me and Troy were walking around going, "It's good, it's different, it's good, is it good?" Troy goes, "Yeah, it's good." He goes, "I think we're on to something." I was like, "I do too, I just don't know if it's good or is it just weird or are we just high or what?"
I just think it's just an evolution of the songs. It seems like they've gotten better and better, and you know, I guess the more you do anything, the better you get at it. Again, Rick getting all this out of his head has got to be great for him.
I figure you can't really write about stuff until you go live you just gotta go live shit, see shit. I'm not one of those people who can sit down and just, I'm gonna write a song about this. It's gotta affect somebody that's close to me or whatever, you know, but the writing process is hours and hours of them looking at me going, "What are you saying? What do you want us to do?" And Troy goes, "We just need to get what's in there onto this, right here on this bass or this guitar."
We write a lot. I've spent a lot of time just dissecting every little piece of it, every note.
Sometimes one of us will come in with an idea and we'll play around with it, but for the most part what ends up happening is John and I have been playing together for long enough that we have a really good time kind of playing off of each other.
Somebody will be doing something and one of us, me or going, "That's it, well, why stop?" And
You know, next thing you know, Rick's running in from the other room with he's already got a chorus, and we just build it from there.
The music's incredible, the songwriting was great, and just the brotherhood these guys have is like none other. They care about what they're doing. You know, they're not coming in here just trying to make something and put it out and all right, we did it. They feel it. You know, they live it. They eat, sleep, and breathe it. It's just, they really love what they're doing. And I think that shows on the record because every song is solid. Every song on here could be a single. I mean, it's really strong.
And one of the things is too, is it's a departure. You know, there have been several different variations of personnel within this band, but the thing that makes this one different is this is the first time that the writing is contributed by everybody that's been in this band for the last at least 3 years.
I mean, we started writing it
shortly after I started rehearsing with the band, every time we would rehearse, we would, start playing around with a riff or something. And I'm a drummer, so I don't speak guitar or chords or anything like that. Might have an ear for arrangements, harmonies, and just setting the tone with the groove on the drums, has kind of defined where the songs were going to go in a lot of places, I think. One in the stank.
Shacker.
Naked. Very, very naked. All right. All right, can you hear me?
I was even by myself, and I just like rolling around laughing because, it's just so gosh damn dumb, it's funny.
Like fucking limey hee-haw, ain't it?
Yeah, it's exactly what it is, man.
Limey hee-haw. That's pretty good. That was a great...
That's perfect. Okay.
Oh!
Alan's something special, man. I've never played with a drummer like that before.
That guy is a freak of nature, man.
I have never played with a drummer that hits as hard as he does. I mean, it is literally a bone-shaking thing. And his meter, I mean, you can't compare with it.
He was a blast. And you talk about just, God, what a solid drummer.
Before Alan came into the band, he's been, I think, probably like right at a year, maybe a little bit, well, probably right at a year. And he, I mean, just right away, I mean, it was already like just great, like hearing him play, but then like personality wise, which, you gotta live with somebody and you gotta see him all the time. So that helps and everything. And he's just great. But I just told Rick, what we're doing right now would have never taken place with previous unsaid member. We would never be at the point where we are right now without Alan. And I think when I told Rick that, Alan was standing right next to me. So I wanted him to hear that because I do believe that. I do believe he's a big part.
We played with other drummers, and those other drummers are definitely very skilled. There is absolutely nothing that I would say that I would want to denigrate their abilities. Absolutely solid, hits rock hard. I hate to do this, Alan, but if I had to compare him to somebody, I would definitely compare him to John Bonham.
Coming in as the new guy, I really didn't know what to expect exactly, and it all happened so fast. I got the call, we had about a week and a half before our first road trip. I think we rehearsed twice, maybe 3 times, and then we were gone. So I learned a lot that first couple of weeks. Learned a lot about the guys, Richard, and all the Rickisms that go along with that. But no, they're a great bunch of guys, man. I fit right in from day one. I showed up at Rick's for the audition, and just it seemed to really gel. We went upstairs to the practice room and blew through about 5 or 6 songs, and then kind of stumbled through a few more, and we were good after that.
As far as the rhythm section goes, Troy just rock solid.
Troy's a machine. You don't have to worry about Troy. He's there. He's solid every time.
His hands, man, there's tone in them. Like he knows when to dig in and get aggressive and make a growl, but he knows when to lay back too and just follow in the pocket of the kick drum. And I may, after this whole thing's finished, make myself a version that's just drum and bass tracks of the whole album, because it's just, that in itself is entertaining enough to listen to just between what those guys are doing. It's just, they're bringing thunder in a really big way. So that's, it's gonna set this album apart as well.
We're really good together, but we're really bad for each other too. We locked in together, and it's been a cool thing. We kind of read each other's minds.
I love Troy, Mr. Asteroids. He is rock solid. He come in and puts his parts down. We could probably done everything with Troy on one take on almost every song. He knows his songs backwards and forwards, and you can't ask for a more solid bass player.
Yeah, they told me, you can't drink with the Viking. I can't. It's my dog, my drinking buddy. John and Gunnar work really well together as a tandem guitar team. They both have such really different styles.
They're both like on opposite ends of the spectrum, but man, there's something that happens when you get those two guys together on a track.
They complement each other very well. John or Gunnar plays a solo it gets heavy, and next thing you know, you want to cry. You're like, my God, where did that come from, man?
Basically, they never play the same thing at the same time. They're always trying to take advantage of having the two guitars, which to me is the only way to do it.
Gunnar can definitely solo. He's definitely got some sick bluesy rock, like almost Slash-esque kind of lead riffs, but he's very much like a solid, just meat and potatoes rhythm guy. He comes with the super solid rhythms, and Johnny is very atmospheric. Like he's got a lot of like David Gilmour and just very like ethereal kind of, like he can shred, he can rip, but he's one of those guys that it's very much, instead of playing 30 notes in a 4-measure period, it's finding the 5 good ones.
Instead of having like 2 guitars doing the same thing, which is kind of boring, one is always complementing the other, one is occupying the space that the other one isn't occupying.
The best way I could put it is think of Aerosmith. You got Brad Whitford that does what he does, and Joe does what he does. They do something totally different, and they make this magic. Well, these two guys do the same thing. John's a brilliant guitar player. He's just got so much knowledge of the guitar itself and loves to play. Gunnar comes in there, just drives it home.
Out the syncopation on that, because I'm doing it one way and it can be done, but it needs to be because like kind of more like on the one with it, okay, let's try to go kind of thing. That's there somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the move. And yeah, pretty much now. Granted, there's that spot towards the end where the 4 on the floor is definitely like needed when it kind of breaks
like the
down.
outro kind of part.
Yeah, it starts to break down like that. But everything else, man, where you can,
oh, you mean where the drum? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fine. But man, all the like the intro and then all those big sections, just.
Well, let's put this into perspective. This song is going to be right before Breathe.
Gotcha.
The way I was hearing that was, I don't know how it plays down into it, and then we can loop it until it traces all the way down into.
Yeah, there's definitely like a cool outro. In fact, what we can do is once this is done, before it gets sent off to mastering, I can kind of like merge those together in a cool musical way where we can even. Maybe there's like a sound effecty type thing that we can bridge the 2 tempos together with, or we can, like you said, the stoner shit.
Right. These 2 songs right here, this song is the last thing that we've written outside of us 5. So,
right.
But we took this apart and redid it the way we would.
Yeah.
But
first and foremost, Dave is just an amazing human being. We've become friends through this process. I knew of Dave, and he's done some work for us before.
Dave is he's incredible, man. He's the kind of guy to sit there. I walked in one day and I grabbed a guitar. I said, "Here, I'm gonna play this part. I'm gonna sing what I got, put them together." And he caught it. He can catch it. He's seen it. He goes, "I got it. I know what we're gonna do."
Dave is he's almost like a 6th member at this point, as far as, a lot of ideas. Like there was, I believe, Spray, which that riff has been there and we believed in it, but then we played it to a point where we were just like, let's just set that to the side because we just never could. And I mean, the second that we sat down with Dave and like showed him that riff, because that wasn't one of the first recorded songs, but the second we showed him that riff and how far we got, he just came up with like a whole part and was like, I hear this, and we all just said, great. Like we love it. Right out of the gate, we love that what he came up with, and he just has an ear, and he's so easy to work with. I mean, he hears things that like in your plan, like if you do something like 4 or 5 times, he'll hear like that you're doing it 5 ways different, and he'll pick the one that he likes. And I don't even know which one. I think I play it the same way every time.
Him and Matt, the studio, I come in this studio for the first 2 weeks I was here. I come in my pajamas every night, my house shoes, and I was, in there on the couch sleeping. I thought I lived in this. It's comfortable. I've never been somewhere where we're doing vocals and we're coming up with stuff, and me and him and Bone are in here, and he's behind his desk. He's sitting there. He's always got his little thing going, and me and Bone are just walking around, and he's humming shit, and I hum, and hey, that'll go with that, and we put it all together, and it's a kind of magical thing, but it's good. I like it.
Supernova, this place is great. Brand new studio. Never met the guys. I'd been hearing Matt's name around for a while. I'd never heard David's name mentioned. And all of a sudden, we're going to come in and do this song, and we get here, and it's just like, and we felt so comfortable. It's kind of a home away from home. And that's important when you're trying to relax. You got to relax and be able to be yourself to get your ideas across on tape. So it means a lot. And that was one of their goals, was to make sure that people were comfortable when they came in, and they knocked it out of the park on that one. Dave he's got some mad voodoo. He's working on the board, and it's crazy. But he's on top of his game. And I think it was the best decision we could have made to do this record here.
About 6 years ago, I bought the first bundle of recording equipment to start my own little operation, and I had some success with it, stayed busy for a while, and around a year ago, started working on a pretty big project at another studio, and my buddy Matt came to sit in on some of that, and we ended up having the conversation while we were there, like, why are we not doing this ourselves? Like,
every studio we go to, it seems like all they cared about was getting you in, getting you out as fast as you can. They didn't care about the music. And we went to 2 or 3 different places and recorded, and we got the same thing every time. I said, you're good enough to do this on your own. Why don't we start our own place, and let's care about the music more than anything else? Because if you care about the music, everything else will follow.
Eventually, yeah, sure, but and he was just like, yeah, quit that, yeah, sure, eventually stuff. We're doing a studio, and he's really spurred along a lot of the progress from like looking around and finding a building to getting in and starting to get the equipment and everything. So probably around July of 19, we found the spot out here in Arlington, Tennessee. We signed the papers. We started construction. By September, we had things at a place where we could begin to record. And by October, we had started our first project that we were able to do start to finish here. And that's pretty much how this whole thing got going.
There is such a thing as having a smooth studio experience, but at some point when you're in there, you're going to have to stop, examine certain songs, maybe do a little bit of rearranging or anything like that. Sometimes it can be painful, sometimes it's not painful. These guys made it not painful and actually helped us improve with the writing of the song so that they can be the best that they can be.
Every time you get onto something and you're wondering if it's okay, if it's good, what do you think, man? He'll go, yep. You're doing all right if he says yep. And he smiles. He's just so patient, and again, just a wonderful human being.
He's just great, and I can't say enough good stuff about him or you.
There was just I think it's the B sections, where it gets up on top of it. It just seemed like it would get, the ride. You could hear him pushing the ride a little bit.
Gotcha.
But, I can live with it either way. And I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. That'll work.
Feels pretty good, right?
I feel like.
Yeah. Cool.
I just wanted that was had a lot
don't
of
want too dirty,
energy, that drive. It was.
Yeah.
That's the only.
Okay. Where I've got.
Oh shit! Stop. Without having the vocals, I just fucked up because there's a breakdown.
All right.
Oh damn, Rick.
Well, every time I breathe you in, there I go again. Looks like we might need us a poor man. I can't remember the fucking thing. I've got to get away. I've got to get away. I've got to get away. Now your weight is coming down on me. Now your weight is coming down on me. something.
I thought that shit was cool, dude.
I think it gives it a little.
Me and Alan looked at each other like, fuck yeah. So
I don't know how it's gonna end.
Let's talk about Rick for a minute.
Oh,
The captain.
First off, he's got one of the most unique voices. Nobody sounds like Rick. Rick don't sound like nobody. The way he writes his lyrics, he knows what he's singing about, but he writes everything so vague. But you can adapt something to that in part of your life or a memory or something like that. It's always floored me how he's done that. There'll be songs that he's been singing. I went, man, I just went through that, and he goes, I was thinking about, you know what Rick goes to Rick's mind. He's out there anyway.
He is a storyteller in the truest Southern sense of the word. It's almost as if Flannery O'Connor had been born again in a man's body. Anytime that you listen to any of the songs that we play, there is always a story behind it. It's not just some rote thing with a bunch of phrases out of it. If you listen closely, it will tell you a tale. And a lot of times it's a morality tale. As rock and roll and as rebellious as we are, there is still that line between right and wrong. And if you listen very closely, these songs actually tend to try and steer one towards taking the right path when presented with a situation that may not be optimal.
This song we were doing the other night, Resurrect The Faithful, couldn't get it to happen, and I left here the other night studio. It was beating me up. Went home and humming through it and just left out one line, and the whole thing fell together. I came back in and said, give me 3 passes. If it's not as good, close, then we'll drop it and go somewhere else. And we did 3 passes, and I said, we on point. And Dave said, we're recording, man, let's go. You know, I write everything on the spot. I still don't write nothing. I mean, I get ideas when we're playing it, mumble and hum shit, but until it's in there, it's in the air.
For the better part of 18 years now, I've been working on records with artists, and people have different processes, but this is the first time I've ever worked with someone who did not write anything out beforehand. Like Rick, he'll listen to stuff and he'll get some ideas, but man, he comes in like off the cuff. And there's times where as a producer that can be nerve-wracking, because I'm used to sitting down with an artist and saying, okay, let me see your lyrics, let's go through everything. With him, every time it's the same thing. He'll tell me to start the song and he just wants to go in the booth with the headphones and he says, let me burn through it a few times. So I'll let him hear it start to finish, and then boom, he's like, all right, get me in on that second verse. Sometimes he wants to start there, sometimes let me start on that chorus, and it's always brilliant. The lyrics and the one-liners and things that just no one would expect, and it's all off the cuff.
It's unlike anything I've ever been around. The guy never writes down a word, and never has, as far as I know. 5, 6 studio albums later, it's all up here. I don't know how he does it, but literally we're at his house, the band's in the, jamming. He's in the studio behind us listening, and when he hears something, man, he comes running in there, grabs the mic, and bam. Usually he's got a hook, a melody, and half the time a song title and a chorus, within just a couple minutes. Those are the magic ones. Like when it goes away, he came running in after we started into this thing, and he sang the chorus, and I put a harmony on top of it, and we all got chills.
So normally what we do, basically just, an idea will just come about, and it can come from just a riff. Once everybody gets together and just plays several dozen times, if it first has to grab somebody, but then the second, once it grabs everybody and then like parts start going and people hear things, it always seems like it is somewhat hinged on Rick's reaction, whether he's the one that because there's still like handfuls of stuff out there that we like to play, but he's just like, he just never. You don't get that. If you don't get that feeling from him, like that he feels like writing anything over it, or it's not really doing anything for him. So we'll play and we'll write and we'll play songs and complete songs and everything, and demo them at our rehearsal space and listen back to them over just weeks. Will go by, and every time when he plays them back, he very rarely is his vocal ever in there. You hear him when you're doing it, but you don't get to hear it back and everything. So when we came in here, I can't remember what the first finished track song was, and it might have been 1 or 2 that I heard that I just, I was absolutely floored.
He's a genius when it comes to songwriting. I've never seen anything like it.
Rick is one of the greatest people. As you said before, he's a musical genius. The guy comes in and he comes up with lines off the cuff, some of the best lines you've ever heard, and one-liners, and he's not to mention one of the funniest guys, but he'll say something and it'll trigger something else, and the next thing you know, he just wrote a song in front of you, and you're sitting here just like, what just happened? And he does it every single night.
But it's great, and he's a very unique songwriter, singer. He's one of my very best friends. We feel like we've grown up together a little bit, if you will.
He is a person. I mean, his energy and just the whole vibe, it's just so contagious. Like, there can be a mood in the room, you know, where everybody's focused or whatever, and he'll just throw a quick one-liner in there and get everybody damn near cry laughing in just a matter of seconds. And it's contagious, man. He's just a great guy to be around, and this whole thing has just been so fun. He's one of a kind, man. There's nobody like him.
I don't know how he does it, but it's cool.
There's so much in him that people don't know. He's brilliant. He's really, truly brilliant. The guy has so much in him. I just wish everyone could see what we saw, because he is truly talented.
Pretty impressed. I hope he never watches this or hears any of it.
The band is perfectly what it is, what the name is, and the music. The music is everything we live. We live kind of on the road. We write what we live what we play, and that's kind of how I found that's how you survive in this business. How the real shit comes out. This record we just done is the most real thing we've ever done. I mean, John came out and he goes, "Man, all these songs are just, you know, everyone I hear is something." I was like, "Yeah, it's like you've been 10 feet from something that happened in one of these songs on this record." So it's great. It's beautiful.